Hi. Oh, let's get this right so I'm not blocking out the view. Hi, this is Dave and Jeanette in Mile End on the Lizard. Obviously I'm Dave, we'll meet Jeanette in a bit. This is another video for the year and I'm starting right back in the paddock again. Not a lot to see here, but it's very overgrown. So I've got to get in here with my machete and chop all of this lot down. But we've planted some trees in here now, but it hasn't really moved forward anymore. We still haven't quite decided what we're going to do with it. But we've got a few trees, as you can see there, a few trees growing. It's been a bit of a disaster with the trees. Apart from the ones along here, they've done really well. Hopefully that's coming out okay. The ones along here are fine. But an awful lot we've lost in here over the winter. We had an incredibly dry end to the winter. We had gales from the east. I think it's about 6 weeks. Very long time. Very dry. No rain with them. And it just absolutely scorched everything. The cracks have sealed up. We've had a bit of rain over the last couple of weeks. But the ground underneath is still pretty dry. So I've been in here and given it its haircut. You can see the trees. These trees were all alive, and no time to get down and water them. It's just they've died from lack of water. It's really annoying. So we don't want, what we want is a normal Cornish winter, and then everything gets plenty of water all winter. So some are alive, but the majority of certainly the goat willow that I wanted all around the edge has died. Yeah, but it's nice just looking across there and not having lots of gorse and brambles and tyres and old machinery hanging about. Right, I'll go up the lane. Lots of wildlife, lots of gorse over there. As you can see, I've got a real battle here. All of this has got to be chopped down. It's quite nice with the cow parsley at the moment. Not so nice, all of the ivy growing and the brambles there, so I'll get to grips with that. Love-hate relationship with gorse. It is beautiful when it's out in flower. It's just not very nice when you're cutting the lawn and brushing up against it and ripping your arms. But it's quite nice at the moment. They haven't had the cows in the backfield, so the grass has got quite long, and I'm struggling to keep the field back at the moment. So hopefully the cows will be let out to pasture in here pretty soon, and they'll chomp all that down. Just coming around to the garden, and there's Catherine next door, and David. Doing some lovely gardening on well, the one nice day of the weekend by the look of it. Yeah. Yeah, it was mad yesterday. 80-mile-an-hour plus winds, 70-mile-an-hour plus winds the day before that. I'd only just put up the new mast, so now we're in the main garden. So I've just come from the paddock and looking across. I'll walk across this way first to the new mast that's up. I don't know if you can see, that's up about, I think, about 70 foot at the moment. The top antenna, it's a 20-foot stub mast up on the top, and my old mast is up at around about 60 foot to the top of the stub mast. So that's the new antennas. There's Hexashack. At last, our winter project is done. And I won't go in there. It's pretty boring in there. It's just full of radio kit, but the outside looks very pretty. And there's a view heading towards the garage, which is the new greenhouse, which I'll be popping in a bit. And just looking back there, the weird green obelisk is the telescope. The telescope's underneath there. I've got a few more bits to finish off, and then hopefully I should have the telescope in action again. All along the back here, we're letting it grow wild because of the east winds, and where I'm looking now, that's east, It's just absolutely stripping the garden. It just burns it and super freezes it as well. So we're going to let the whole lot grow up, and we've kept about 10-12 foot as a nature part here. We're going to let all that grow up as well. The huge antenna there is the mad about 44 foot long Yagi I built. Trouble is I haven't got a rotator at the moment to handle it, so I can't really put it up on the mast because it'll wreck the rotator. So yeah, I'll just go round Hexashack. And there's the front door to it. Yeah, so pleased we got that done. Me and Jeanette have really slaved over getting this done, getting the greenhouse built as well this winter, and so glad it's done, and getting all the antennas done, which we've only just finished. It's all the coax, and here to go with Hexashack we've got Hexaseat. And Jeanette had the idea, why don't we do a little hexagon tree seat here? So the grass is now grown up and we have a little seat. It's quite cute. I might walk around the back because I'm pretty sure that the pergola wasn't there last year. So still the huge formium here. This is eventually going to go, and this is looking so different. Mike's coming to take his mast back pretty soon. So this will all be clear, and then we'll start thinking about what we're going to do in this area. We were going to do it we still might do it as a jungle garden, because it's like a little microclimate with all the bamboo along the back. It does get protected from the easterly winds, so it doesn't get so cold. So looking at the back, and there's the pergola, and the seats shouldn't be there, but I've just finished painting the bench. So we've got clematis, little olive tree in the front there, and yeah, let's just put the seats right, and a bench made out of some old sleepers and some old, well, the bricks that came out of our dividing wall in the house, or our partition wall in the house. Just drag them back, and then you'll be able to see what it should look like. So nice little seating area, and it's quite secluded up here, and doesn't get the wind so bad. So yeah, it's difficult to, well, without showing a picture, but looking at that back wall did not look like that. And this here, this base, I did not put that down. The base here goes well beyond the wall, you can see there, and this was just all rubble piled up all over here. And Jeanette cleared all this in the autumn and got all the rubble out, found this, and I helped as well, clearing it all off, and we decided, well, we're going to use this, we're going to put the pergola on here. And she rebuilt the wall at the back and put a planter in the middle, so that's filling up nicely, and yeah, lovely flowers in there. And it's, yeah, this is really nice up here. It's nice and secluded, and it's also coming on nicely. We put all, I forgot the name of them now, daisies, big daisy, I call them Michaelmas, but I know they're not, all along the back, and hopefully that will hide the stingers. It'll hopefully beat the stingers and crowd them out, and we'll just have beautiful daisies all down the back. Yeah, so all of this right the way along Jeanette's rebuilt, and this is the point where she stopped, because from that point on it's major works if we're going to do it. But I mean, we're kind of losing about 6 foot of our land at least, because where the walls tumbled on the other side, but it's the effort to do it, and of course it'd be full of root now, and yeah, and people have dumped stuff, as you can see. There's lumps of concrete, but yeah, now it looks nice. A really good use of it all. Yep, a little magnolia tree, and yeah, there's the mast. Looking from here, it's a long way up. So glad we had that guide. Well, I was a bit worried in the last couple of days, especially yesterday. Yesterday morning was horrific, it really was. Jeanette and I were walking across the garden and there was one gust that took us both out. Really sharp, hard blast, and I reckon that was over 80 mile an hour. Okay, so here's the motorhome now. We've got the motorhome here. It looks a bit rough on the outside, but it's still immaculate inside. And we're just hiding the bonfire here. We're planting willow trees that are all going to hide the bonfire from this side. And here, this big tree here, this was one of the fallers in the winter. What happened, that was right up a very, very big tree, and it fell onto the big old sycamore. So I chopped it down, and it wasn't at that angle at all. It had fallen right over. And when I chopped through the last bit with a chainsaw, it sprung up, made me jump. And yeah, it's still alive. It's obviously rerouted itself. And yeah, away it goes. So we're going to let it carry on growing. It's a willow tree. And the bonfire. And along here, we're still trying to do the nice cover for the bonfire, just to hide it. And what we've got in here now, we've got willow, clematis, wisteria there, another couple of willows, various other plants in there, and another wisteria here. Well, I thought the wisteria had died, and some Virginia creeper as well. And hopefully this year now everything will spring into life. But the wisteria took, well, it's been 2.5 years now, and this year they've actually started to grow, so they really do take a long time to settle down. Okay, and we've just, luckily this didn't get totally blasted out, because I thought I bet I get to the video this year and the rhododendron has been stripped, but the flowers and the bees absolutely love it. Hopefully this comes out okay on the video. But this is the best the rhodie's done. And what we did, we mounded it all around the base. Thank you, Montidon. And yeah, it really did help. This has really come into its own this year. And the back we're still working on. We're still doing the back, making a mixed border all the way along, and it's going well. Lots of plants. You've just got to be patient. It takes years and years to do these things. I'm learning patience a little bit. And here's the little secret passageway. And I won't go across there this time. I'll go into the orchard afterwards. I'll walk through this way this time, just so you can see the hydrangeas. We've lost a tree here, another tree here this winter. That's why there's a few holes this year in the hydrangeas. We've had to get in there and get the tree out, and here is obviously a big hole, but they'll soon fill in, and they're doing fantastically well. It's difficult to tell the height from here, but I'm 5'8", and they're at least another foot higher than me already, so the hydrangeas are gonna be stunning this year. And too late for the bluebells. I've left the bluebells to go to seed this year, but the bluebells are really stunning again, really nice. And there's the auricular theatre, and the auricular theatre's doing really well. It loves it there. It's a perfect position. Okay, so Jeanette's been oh, I'm going to walk round the other way because I think Jeanette's just about to trim the fairy garden. No, she's off, so I'll just go around the fairy garden. We've got some extra stumps. It just needs trimming, but I love it. I must admit, I was a bit dubious when Jeanette first said about it, but now I do love it. Okay, it's got to be trimmed, it's got to be cleared up a bit, but it is really fantastic. And I ought to do a video in the autumn time, because all the stumps are filled with fungi and mushrooms, weird fungi and mushrooms growing on them. And Jeanette here is just doing the bark chippings. We've got 4 big bags of bark chippings there, so they're going to go on all the flower beds. It's amazing, we've managed to keep the garden going this winter. As I said, it was so dry for so long. Everything looked really really parched, and we just watered what we could during the winter. And yeah, luckily it's worked. Right, I'm just coming around now into the main garden, and I'm going to head off into the greenhouse. Are you going into the greenhouse, Jeanette? Are you, Jeanette? I think that's a no. Yeah, oh, irises are beautiful this year as well. I think I'm going to have to walk around the fairy garden after it's just been trimmed. Jeanette's just trimming it at the moment. Okay, so here we are, the entrance to the greenhouse. Oh, blimey, this is a mammoth effort. I'll just go in front of it first, just so you can see our raised beds for our veggies. There's a run of beans, just about recovering. We had frost this winter, east winds, and we had numerous times where it's below zero, and we got caught out about 3 weeks ago. No less than that, it's 2 weeks ago. We put the run of beans out just to harden off, and then one night the temperature dropped to -1. Really unusual here to go below freezing, but this year has been a strange year over the last year. So yeah, plenty of veggies growing anyway, and we've already had the delights of radishes and rocket from the garden, and lots more coming on. Okay, I'm hoping this comes out, because it is quite stunning in here what Jeanette's done. We put benches all in here, and a huge bench for her to work on. And as you can see, she's got all of her flowers all along the top, and then all of her seedlings that she's been pricking out all through here. Tables all the way through. So how long is this? I think it's 10 meters long. But yeah, lots and lots of plants in here. Oh god, it's hot in here as well. Yeah, let me just walk through. And she's got some comfy seats in here as well. She does a bit of painting in here, and we're just about to see the mural, or if you remember Coronation Street and Hilda Ogden, the mural. And yeah, she's got a little potting bay. Built her a little potting bay here, so she can do all her potting up, and little bins, and a big raised bed here. And this is going to be for the tomatoes, and one's in, some more are going to be in. And hopefully, if I come round and go up to here, oh, it's too big to get in. I wonder if I can zoom out a little bit. Can I zoom out? No, I can't. I can only zoom in. So hopefully, if I span across, you'll see it anyway. And Jeanette painted this. She did a course online on how to do it, and yeah, it is quite stunning. Really effective, looks really real, and she's got all her paint stuff there as well. And I think she's got a real talent for it. And all the little butterflies, they're quite detailed if I go in. Whoops, to knock things over. As you can see, even that close, she's really gone into detail with them. Yeah, and looking back, the plants all along the top, they're geraniums. We luckily brought in the geraniums this year, because normally you just grow them in the garden here, and she's going to leave them in here now, because so many of her succulents were wiped out in the garden. But luckily all the geraniums, and they're really happy in here, they absolutely love it. It's dry, it's hot, and they just constantly flower, so it makes it really nice in here. Okay, alright, let me head on round into the orchard. No, I won't go over there, but I'll just point across. The hydrangeas over there, they're about 7 foot tall now. No, not that high, 6 foot, they're 6 foot as well. We're going to have stunning hydrangeas over there as well. And yeah, we've got a few guests in. I haven't got round to it yet. I've got to clear this, trim it along here. I've been grass cutting today, and as I said, I'm leaving a lot of this to, it looks overgrown, and it is, but I just want the bluebells to have a chance to do what they do this year, not cut them down. This is another tree that snapped off this winter, and this is growing up. This is a goat willow. It used to arch right across here, So it's all growing again. It's just so windy here. Yeah, and everything's doing really well on the wall. Loads of mint, as you probably see. The mint has gone crazy this year. And my archway is getting there, slowly but surely. I've got to do a bit of feeding in, so it's buddlier. It's going to be a buddlier arch, and once, I think it's going to take another year, but once it's finished, it'll have buddlier right over it. So when it flowers, it will be stunning. Yeah, little rhododendron just down there. Hopefully you can see that okay. It's a pretty little one. And one of the lupins that survived, you'll see up here, there's some of them that have been flattened. Jeanette has chopped some back. The rhododendrons are doing much better here in the shelter. Sweet peas are just mad. Look at them. They're like triffids. And here's the lupin where sadly we've lost some in the winds. The winds batter them. And this, I can't remember the name of the plant, but it flowers yellow, and it just flowers nearly all year. It is lovely. Yeah, so here's the other little area. I can't remember where we got to with this last year, but it's got a weeping willow. And we've also got some umbrella plants, 2 weeping willows. And we put a seat in here, parasol, and a bench, another one of the benches using sleepers and some of the bricks from the partition wall indoors. And one of the bases here that was already in the garden, so utilise what is here already. And the angelica over there, that's already at about 5 foot, so that's going to be good. And these are just coming out in flower here. Lovely yellow. I don't know if that's coming out where the sun's so bright. I thought we'd lost our tree ferns. We've got 4 tree ferns along here, but they just started to grow again. They did not like the cold easterly wind. But what we've done here, and I can't remember the name of them, but they're kind of similar to a succulent. These plants here, we tried a little experiment, and we put a couple of them up on the wall because nothing else seemed to grow up on the wall, and they took straight away. It's like they didn't even notice that they'd been moved. So we had a few more dotted around the garden, and we split them this spring, and we put them in all along the wall, and it really does look effective. They've still got to establish a little bit, that some of them are quite small, but when they do, it'll yeah, I think it just it goes well. Even a little one right down in here as well. Okay, so I'm going to go around the front. What I will do, I'll walk back round the back garden. And there's the gunner up. We thought we'd lost this as well. This was very late coming into leaf this year. You can barely see the little secret passage. There are steps here, but they're all covered up. Oop, there, make sure I get the footing right. Yeah, and I've just cut the grass here, so at least you can see where you're putting your feet. And now I can go into the flower garden where it's been trimmed, and the little gnome is still there. And we're still trying to grow this palm tree. I think it's actually grown much better this year. And what are these in the middle, Jeanette? Okay. Bit. You notice we got benches as well in the garden, and getting some old benches and just reconditioning them just so people can sit out. This one was the garden bench we did have, or two garden seats that broke, and I made them into a bench, and it's really solid. I think that'll last forever. So glad I cut the grass around here. So we got another blow up tomorrow. As you can see, the flower beds are really established now. really nice. And Jeanette's growing foxgloves in here this year. I think they're hybrid ones. They're not your bog standard ones. So that's going to be really nice. And the boat's all coming together. And as you can see, the border. Yeah, it's really, really nice. These flowers are gorgeous. We're hoping these spread all over the bank. We'll have to wait and see. And the red hot pokers are coming up again. They always do really well in this garden, considering how windy it is. And the pond, there's a lot of, I've got to get in there and clean all the duckweed out. It's really annoying, the weed. We just don't get many frogs in here, and I know the frogs, they don't like it. So we need to find a way to get rid of the duckweed. Yeah, flower bed around this tree as well. And the gunner is really kicking off in the front. It's doing really well. This is just, it's all plants in this. The front bed, but we did have somebody, I don't know if you can see, it's dented here. We had somebody reverse into the wall. But luckily it didn't tumble. No, you can see it did tumble a little bit there. But it's just full of plants. And everything in there is just so healthy. But Jeanette did say she's going to get in there and thin it out. There's the bluestone sign, and Jeanette painted that as well. And we got a little street light, a little lamp to go up there as well, little solar one. Super-sized gunner. Yeah, and I just go around the front as well. What we've done with the daisies is put them all around. Well, the royal we. I did help a little bit with them, but it's just to get them to spread all over the bank. And we've also got lots of other plants in there that should spread. But the hedge at the front has done really well. And the willow's doing really well that we've put in as well along here, so that's really good. Yeah, and it does give us a little bit of shelter in the front garden from the southwesterlies. Okay, I'm going to swing around now just so you can see. I call this the Isle of Wight College, because one of their presents was the voucher and for down the road, and we got a lot of these plants with the voucher. Yeah, it's really, really good. I see the monkey puzzle tree. It's really put on a spur. It's I think now it's really going to take off, and the two palm-like trees there as well, they're really taking off. So I'll have to look at the video for last year, see how much they've grown. I know I won't go up close to the succulents that are in the front because they were killed by the frost. Okay, so I'm now going to Jeanette's new garden. Now, there might have been just black plastic all over this. We were fighting Crocosmia, and we lost the fight, and it was even growing through the plastic. So what Jeanette did, she took the plastic off and she weeded by hand the whole of this bed. So at the front, we've got my little palm tree that we moved. But this is her white garden, and it's doing really well. This is the first year for the white garden. And I'm not going to mention the plants because I don't know the names. But as you can see, everything is doing really well. We've got some nice, I presume they're foxgloves, white foxgloves, they're going to come up. But everything in here is white. And yeah, no Crocosmia. Yeah, it was hard work, really hard work doing it. But there's lots and lots of plants in there. And still some daffodils out as well. There's our poor tree where somebody decided it's a good idea to have a barbecue up against the tree, and they caught the tree alight. Very lucky with that. So it's getting better, and we'll try and get something to grow around it with we've got a clematis there at the moment, so hopefully that's gonna, that's the whole bed looking back, and it is filling up. By the end of this year it's going to be beautiful. It is already. The hydrangeas, I've just mulched all them today, and just coming around this bed, which Jeanette's just recently weeded, and everything's doing really well in there. And another one of the benches for people to sit on. We're going to move this one though and put the other one that's in the orchard in its place, because this one really needs rubbing down and repainting again. I painted it once, but it's quite rough, so we're going to put the other one here, and I'll sort this one out when I find time. And we painted the front deck as well. I think we've done anything else to the house apart from solar panels. We did have solar panels last year. There's a little memorial, and everything's, it was really pretty with the daffodils here. Really impressive daffodils this year. Okay, and we've got another bench there. I've just recently painted that, so we thought it's an ideal place if people want to sit out in the sun in the afternoon. It's gorgeous. Okay, I've left the bird feeders. Actually, we'll take them down pretty soon. We'll put them back up in the autumn, because the birds don't need feeding now. There's ample enough for them to eat. This is the new border on the edge, so it's looking a bit sparse at the moment, but it is getting there. Yeah, some plants are growing, some aren't. I mean, it's just going to be one of those trial and error things, and whatever grows is what we'll put in there. Okay, just go around the side borders. And across to the little garden across there. I won't go into the garden, into the garage, it's a bit of a mess. So these borders now are really established, and a stunning foxglove already. They're beautiful. We've got lots and lots of foxgloves coming up, so they did really well last year, or year before last, and have seeded well. And yeah, these are really established, these borders now. And because I'm not actually showing you them, I've got the sun in my eyes at the moment. Hopefully you can see that. One of the succulents that did survive. A little tree. And another one of the yellow flowers around here. And the hydrangeas around here.